Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this month's exciting adventure of bugs, bugs, bugs. Today, I'll be talking to you about centipedes. Let's begin with our top 10 centipede facts. Number 1. Have less than 100 legs. The word centipede comes from the Latin words for 100 and legs, but they don't actually have 100 legs. Your average centipede has 15 to 30 legs, and that's one pair for every segment of their body. Number 2. Can regrow limbs. Centipedes have evolved to be able to regrow limbs that have fallen off their body. That means their legs and their arms. Now, the way this happens is that sometimes when they're being attacked by a predator, they'll sacrifice a few of their legs to the predator so that they can run away and escape. And then later, those legs will grow back. Number 3. Super speedy. If you've ever seen a centipede in your house and tried to squash it, you know just how fast they really are. Centipedes and millipedes are known for being some of the fastest insects in the world. They're actually not insects, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Number 4. They live absolutely everywhere. Centipedes can live on every single continent, including in the Arctic, where there aren't any other kinds of bugs. Number 5. But they prefer dark, damp places. Centipedes like to live in places where there's not much light and where it's moist, like a pile of rotting leaves, or inside a dead log, or maybe in your own bathroom. Number 6. Not dangerous to humans. Although they're very creepy looking, most centipedes cannot even bite a person. And the few that cannot hurt us in any way unless you're allergic to their saliva, in which case you'll have a very mild reaction most likely. But very few people are actually allergic to centipede bites. Most people would hardly know. Number 7. Very shy creatures. Centipedes are scared of human beings, and if you get too close, they will try to run away from you, which you've probably seen if you've ever found a centipede inside. Number 8. They are not insects. I mentioned this a little bit earlier. Centipedes are a lot like most insects, but they can't be classified as insects because they have more than 6 legs. If you remember from earlier, centipedes have one pair of legs for every segment of their body, which usually adds up to 15 to 30 leg pairs. Number 9. Different sizes. Your average centipede in the United States is about 6 inches long, or about this big. Your average centipede in the West Indies is 18 inches long, which is 1.5 feet, or about, hang on, let me get in the middle, this big. Think about running into one of those puppies in the bathroom. Number 10. Carnivorous diet. Centipedes are carnivores, meaning they eat other insects. And like I said, they're not actually insects, but they eat other bugs or small creatures. And the way they do this is by catching their prey and injecting them with poison through their legs. But as I said earlier, you don't need to be afraid of centipedes because most of them are unable to bite us with their legs, let alone inject any poison into us. Well, that's all I have for our top 10 centipede facts. If you'll join me at the table, I can show you how to do our centipede craft. Now that you know all about centipedes, it's time for our centipede craft. I'm going to open up my kit here and take out all the pieces inside. As you can see, we've got some buttons, we've got our centipede body, and we've got lots of little paper pieces. These pieces that look like lollipops are the feet and legs. This double piece that has 2 legs coming out of it is actually the tail. And The little L-shaped pieces, or pieces that look like golf clubs, are the antenna. The first thing you want to do is remember what we learned about centipedes at the beginning of our lesson, that they don't actually have 100 legs. We're going to glue our legs onto the segments using a glue stick. And we're going to glue the antennas onto their head. One of my antennas is still stuck in the bag. There it is. Very good. Put one here on this side of the head and one over here, like that. And now time to attach the legs. As we said before, centipedes have one pair or two pairs of legs for each segment of their body. Now our centipede here doesn't really have segments, but they do have these little bumps which we can imagine are segments. And so we're going to put on legs as we see fit. If you want to use all of the legs that I gave you, go ahead. If you want to use fewer legs so that they don't overlap, that's okay too. Just glue them on and wait for them to dry. And make sure the legs go in pairs, because that's how centipede legs are in real life. Now our centipede is not going to look as creepy, crawly, and Halloween-y as the centipedes in the pictures that I posted, because it's just a cartoon, whereas the centipedes in the picture were real centipedes. And we got one more leg over here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. There would be another one here, but it's going to, we'll put it here too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I dropped a leg on the floor. Oh no! Let's get that one on too. And then our centipede has lots and lots of legs and some antenna. Now I'm going to glue on the tail, also using the glue stick. Now I'm going to give that a few minutes to dry so that everything will stay on nice and tight. All dry. Time to add the buttons. I'm going to use regular school glue for this step because the buttons are heavier than the paper and we want to make sure they stay on. My kit has 4 buttons in it. Yours should probably have a few more than that. Let's see if the glue will actually come out. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, and oopsies, 3 buttons. Oh well, I've got an extra dab of glue here. No biggie. That will just wipe off and it'll be fine. Time to wait while it dries off a little bit more. Uh-oh, one of my arms came off. That's okay, we can glue that on in a minute when everything is dry again. For the next step, we'll add our eyes. One important thing to remember when looking at your centipede is that this part up here, the big part, is the head, and this little part down here is the tail. I'm going to use the regular school glue again so that the glue stick doesn't dry out before I get the eyes on. I'm going to stick my eyes in the glue, and then I'm going to draw in a little smile and let everything dry off before I show you the finished product. I'm going to take my pink marker for the smile. Of course, you can use any color you like. I'm going to move my eyes just a little bit from where I put them originally. Oh, that looks much nicer than I had it. Time for this to dry, and then I'll show you what the finished project can look like. Of course, yours will be a little bit different because you have a different number and different colored buttons than I do. The project is dried, and now we know exactly what it should look like. Well, about what it should look like. Of course, yours might be a little bit different. I hope you had fun making your centipedes, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.